In this lesson, we'll add a special shader that can change the look of a piece of geometry based on the camera angle. So let's create kind of an interesting effect here on this glass. So we'll go into our Hypershade, and instead of adding one of the simple materials that we've added here, or even a substance material, let's add a ramp shader. So we're going to go to Materials, Ramp Shader, and let's add this ramp shader and assign it. Let's open up the ramp shader. It's going to have a little bit of a different layout than the rest of the materials. You can see that we have these ramps that are associated with the color, transparency, incandescence, and we can drive these ramps based on different aspects. So for instance, instead of being based on any sort of UVs, we can have the color based on the facing angle. We can base it on the light angle, or we can base it on the facing angle, which means that, so if we look at this, it means that the parts of the model that are facing away from us can have a different sort of color than the parts that are facing towards us. That means it's dynamic, so if we rotate around it, it'll change. So let's see what that looks like. So let's add a color here, and let's add kind of a red. So make that sort of red color. And then over here on this end, let's make this black. So now if we look at this, you can see that it's red around the edges, but as we get towards the part of the model that's facing towards us, it's black. So let's frame up on that. If we rotate around, you always have that red rim because there's always part of it that's sort of facing away from us. So it's not like it's baked into the geometry where this part is always red. If we come around here, it's not red anymore, it's black. And all of this is red. So it's changing dynamically, and it gives us a really interesting sort of effect without having to see into the inside of the cockpit. So to change this up a little bit more, let's make this red a little bit more red. Okay, so maybe something like that. I'm going to change the interpolation to smooth. All right, let's go ahead and add in right here more of a black. We'll bring this out a little bit more so we can kind of see that rim. All right, and then let's bring in red again on this side. So now we'll choose a red. We'll make it kind of dark there. And you can play around with the effect of this, but if we click off of this, you can see we get kind of a red kind of highlight in the middle, and it darkens up, and then we get this red rim around it, which I think is kind of cool. You can also come in around here and add maybe a bright spot in the center. So maybe add just a real bright area right in the middle. A sort of an interior glow almost. Let's kind of smooth this transition out a little bit. And you can add other sort of sections in there if you want to kind of tighten it up. But for me, I think that looks kind of cool. It's got kind of a HAL 9000 kind of a look where we've got this sort of glow in the middle, and it changes dynamically, so it's not baked in. So you get the idea that it's kind of made of this maybe otherworldly type of material, or it just kind of complements, I think, the kind of rough metal that we've got across the rest of it. Okay, and that's just using a ramp shader with the facing angle selected, so you can change the color based on the angle of the geometry to the camera. Once we've got that added, we'll go ahead in the next lesson and take a look at adding file textures to our model. So we'll take a look at a texture that I'll be providing and the way that you can kind of customize it to your own UVs. So we'll do that next.